Muller takes out the cross in towards Durant, misses the overhead kick. John Mountney's there! Oh, and he's done it, John Mountney! Oh, yes! And Mountney celebrates! Oriel Park celebrates!
I know all eyes were on Richmond Park, but Oriel Park was the only place we could start the Extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. John Mountney with a late winner against Shamrock Rovers. An unexpected victory for the Lily-Whites, I think it's fair to say. And we'll have more on that game a little bit later on with former Dundalk defender Jon Flanagan. We'll hear from St. Pat's manager Stephen Kenny following their 1-0 defeat to Derry City. We also spoke to Ruaidhri Higgins. We're at the showgrounds where Sligo Rovers lost 3-0 to Bowes. And we'll hear from Weavers Park where Drogheda United lost 3-2 to Galway United. Let's start though with the biggest result of the night. Probably the biggest shock of the season so far. Dundalk beating Shamrock Rovers by 1-0. John Mountney with the goal late in the game. Jon Flanagan, formerly of Dundalk, was there and afterwards sent us this voice note.
All over here in Oriel Park, and what can we say except wow, what a finish to a game. A game that was full of endeavour, full of heart, work rate, effort. You can sum it all up for Dundalk. Rovers came at them. It has to be said, they weren't maybe at their fluid best, but Dundalk soaked everything up, defended resolutely. Johnson at the back, Andy Boyle were fantastic. And just as the game entered into injury time, John Mountney, captain, talisman, stood up and scored a wonderful volley low into Leon Pole's right-hand corner, gave him no chance, and the place erupted. The fans just went absolutely crazy. The bench empty to celebrate Mountney, and all Dundalk can hope now is that that's going to kickstart their season, kickstart the chase to reel back in Drogheda, Sligo, Pats, and whoever else is above them. But it doesn't mean anything unless they can go and back it up next week in what's going to be a tough assignment against Galway. But all credit to Liam Burns and his troops tonight. They've put off the field troubles behind them, concentrated on what they can control, and that's on the field, and they come away with 3 points. Excellent result for Dundalk.
This is the Extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that was former Dundalk and Drogheda defender Jon Flanagan on Dundalk's 1-0 win against Shamrock Rovers. Now, next up for Shamrock Rovers are Derry City, who had a very good Friday night. They beat St. Pat's by 1-0 here in Richmond Park, where I'm currently speaking to you from. I'm actually just beside the centre circle. We'll hear from Stephen Kenny, the Saints manager, in a while. We'll also hear from Ruaidhri Higgins, the Candy Stripes boss. First, though, let's get some analysis of the game with Keith Treacy. Paul McMullen, by the way, with the only goal of the match. He ran onto a defence-splitting ball and finished it well. St. Pat's did have chances, but couldn't find the net. They couldn't get one past Brian Maher. Here's the thoughts of former St. Pat's player Keith Treacy, who was on commentary with me on LOI TV.
Yeah, look, I think there's some positives to take away from the game. I know it won't feel like that for Pat's fans straight after, but there is subtle differences. You can see there's an awful lot more playing out from the back. We look a little bit more confident on the ball. And yet, look, defensively, Derry are a very, very good team. It was always a tall ask that Stephen Kenny's had probably 24 hours, maybe one session on the pitch with this Pats group. So it's probably unrealistic to think that, you know, he's going to come in, things are going to be brilliant and they're going to start moving up the table straight away. They've put it up, been really competitive against probably the second best team in the league this season, or in my view, they will turn out being the second best team in the league. So no disgrace to go and lose to Derry. Does look like there's more to come from this Pats team, and again, I'm still very interested to see what Stephen Kenny and this Pats team can do together.
Derry played well tonight.
Brilliant. As an away performance, I thought you were spot on. Kept the ball for long periods of time, 2, 3, 4 minutes at a time. Got Pats chasing shadows, and whenever Pats did get a couple of balls into the box, or you felt the momentum starting to go in their way, Derry just nullified it with a period of possession, disconnected the crowd. And with the crowd coming here expecting Stephen Kenny's team to be on the front foot, I thought it was an excellent away performance from Derry. Can't praise them enough.
For the benefit of those listening on the St. Pat's app, what we're looking at the moment is some of the Pats players coming over to the Camac Terrace side, and they're being warmly applauded by the St. Pat's supporters. They do get that these things take time and that Derry City are a good team. And speaking of Derry City, we're watching the build-up to their goal, the replay of it, the goal that McMullen scored, the goal that won the game.
Yeah, again, it's Patrick McElhenney. Derry do well, they recycle the ball, they get McElhenney on the ball, and when he has the ball in space, you need to start dropping off. The Pats line is still a little bit too high. McMullen makes that run that he made so many times throughout the game, but this time McElhenney has the class to find them, and as soon as he goes one-on-one with Rodgers, you expect him to hit the back of the net, and he made it look easy.
for St. Pat's. They have to bounce back quickly, don't they? A Monday night encounter here against Shelbourne, which will be live on Virgin Media Television. What are you expecting from that game?
Well, I'm expecting to see a little bit more of the Stephen Kenny style, the Stephen Kenny DNA put into the Pats team. He will have the weekend now to speak to the boys. I imagine with how much output they've given tonight that it will mostly be done in the classroom. They'll be learning things tactically, what he expects from them. And again, there's a clean sheet there for everybody, so players that maybe are coming off the bench might think, if I train well over the weekend, I can get myself into the team on Monday. And the one thing that Stephen Kenny, I think, will have to admit is he doesn't know who his best 11 are just yet, so all of the Pats players will be training like demons and trying to get into that. So I expect to see little subtle improvements again on Monday. Maybe not necessarily winning the game, Oisin, but putting building blocks in place so that Pats can go and compete and hopefully get a European spot.
Just before I let you go, Keith, on Monday night it will be built as Damien Duff against Stephen Kenny and all that, but do players pay any heed to that? Do the managers pay any heed to that kind of stuff, or is that just for the fans, just for the media?
I think that's just for the fans, just for the media. I don't think the managers can get too bogged down in it. And as a player, I know two managers, sometimes they will have a history together, or whatever will have happened in the past. But no, I don't think players care about it whatsoever. There might be a bit more of a rousing speech while you're in the dressing room, maybe something a little bit more personal about the opposition, but generally it doesn't really come into players' notion. It's a Dublin derby. I think that'll be at the front and foremost of every player's mind, but in terms of what's on the bench, in terms of the managers, doesn't really come into the players' thinking.
This is the Extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that is former St. Pat's and Republic of Ireland player Keith Treacy analysing Derry City's 1-0 victory against St. Pat's here in Richmond Park. Let's hear now from both managers, starting with new St. Pat's boss Stephen Kenny.
Yeah, I think obviously Derry are almost, you could say, they're at full strength now, so they're a very, very strong team, you would feel, when they get everyone out. I know they had a lot of injuries early in the season, they weren't as strong. They were quite strong there, but there was nothing really in the game. It was quite even overall. Obviously, we had control of the game. They had greater control overall, but you would expect that. And there was a couple of pivotal moments really. The game changed, and obviously Brandon Kavanagh's effort was, cleared off the line where it looked like he was definitely going to score, and then obviously we conceded ourselves. We didn't look like conceding, I felt we were defending. The players put their bodies on the line, they were resolute, and they showed real determination. Just that goal was, our line was not quite right, and they punished us, a runner from deep, and it was a good finish, but the players gave everything tonight and did well overall.
Is that the frustrating thing, that by and large you'd kind of stop Derry getting space around your goal, and the one time they did, they punished you?
Yeah, well, they as I say, they've a lot of very experienced players who've achieved a lot, so certainly they're capable of punishing it. But I thought the players were confident in possession. We've seen some good individual skill in the game. Like to create more chances than we did, but Derry were strong defensively as well, and plenty to work on still, and so quick turnaround now. We've no time to dwell on that really, and make sure we're ready for Monday.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing, the fact that it's a quick turnaround? It is what it is, you can't change it, but is it a good thing to have a game this soon again?
Well, we're fine with it. I mean, I think we see everyone just everyone down and see how they are. It's a very, very narrow defeat here with on the margins overall, I felt. But Derry are serious contenders for the league. I felt they were obviously we're playing the top two tonight and Monday. It was always going to be a tough week. But we were in the game for 95 minutes, and there wasn't much in the game. It was pretty evenly contested. We had some good play as well, and so we're disappointed not to take something from the game.
What about the night itself? There was a great atmosphere, the fans were very welcoming of you, and then towards the end, actually at the end, there was a warm applause for the team, because I think they appreciated the effort even though the result wasn't what they wanted.
Yeah, for sure. It's great to. I was appreciating the players' effort. I think the supporters know the team is not perfect, but we'll be looking to improve. And that's for sure. We've got tough games coming up. Obviously, Derry tonight, Shells Monday, and Bohemians Friday. So we've got a tough week, and we've got to dust ourselves down and bounce back. We can't be too despondent about that. We've got to leave that behind us, because a lot of good elements to play. And so we can take confidence from that.
Finally, what kind of match are you expecting on Monday night against Shelburne?
Well, you know what, I'm only taken over since yesterday, so obviously we'll analyse Shelburne's game, and I'm sure it'll be they're having a fine season. They're doing very well. Of course, they're right on top of the league, so they're doing really well. So we'll have to be at our best.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Ruaidhri Higgins, Derry City manager. A 1-0 win here in Richmond Park against St. Pat's. What are your thoughts on the performance?
Really happy with it, to be honest. Proud of the players. Obviously tonight was, the crowd were up. Obviously Stephen coming in, so it was always going to be a really, really difficult game. But I thought the players dealt with it brilliantly, and I thought it was a really composed performance. Defensively solid and good in possession, created a couple of opportunities. So all in all, given the night that was in it, I thought it was a brilliant win for us.
Were you very happy with that first maybe 20 minutes when they had not too many chances, but they had a lot of possession and the crowd were up, as you mentioned, and it was a bit of a cauldron? Is that something that the players had to be prepared for, and by the looks of it were?
Aye, absolutely. But as the game settled, I thought we took good control of it. And I thought, as I said, really, really proud of the players, what they're putting in at the minute. And it's great to see Dummigan and Duffy and Diallo and McElhenney and these lads back from injury as well, which has given us a real boost over the last week with the Bulls game last week and tonight. So, but I have to mention Cameron McJanet's goal line clearance at 0-0. It's a huge moment in the game. But bar that, I don't think they had anything really clear cut. And as I said, extremely proud of the players, and we go up the road with 3 points.
And you're back down the road on Monday night. But as you say, you're getting players minutes, you're getting players back up to the speed of it. And McElhenney, it was only his 4th appearance tonight, yet to play a full 90 this season. Shane wouldn't have played a whole pile either. Duffy came on and made a difference, and as you've already mentioned, Dummigan in as well.
Yeah, and Diallo. So listen, Diallo, that was Diallo's first start since the end of last season. So he can be really proud of his performance. But listen, the timing's good. I thought we played some good stuff tonight, and as I said, we go up the road with 3 points. We're back down the road in a couple of days, so that'll be a good game for us, and one we're looking forward to.
Ruaidhri, well done tonight. Thank you.
Oisin.
This is the Extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that was Ruaidhri Higgins, the Derry City manager, and before him Stephen Kenny, the St. Pat's manager, following Derry's 1-0 win against St. Pat's. Let's find out how it went between Sligo Rovers and Bohs. Well, you know that Bohs won by 3-0. Let's get a bit of detail with Extratime.com's Donal Ryan, who was at the game. Afterwards, he sent us this voice note.
Thanks, Oisin. Full time here in the showgrounds. It's finished Sligo Rovers 0, Bohemians 3. Bohs got off to a dream start when James Clark opened scoring on 2 minutes. Dale Rooney with a fine ball in from the left hand side. Ed McGinty came for it, didn't get near enough contact on it as much as he would have liked. Fell onto James Clark's head and into the top corner. Bohs taking the lead. After that, it was pretty much all Sligo Rovers. Had all of the ball and a lot of the possession, but couldn't really do too much with it, with a couple of half chances falling the way of Stefan Radoslavich and Rain Smith, who was in Abubakar Keita's pocket pretty much all night. And then Bohs doubled their lead on half an hour, pretty much against the run of play, and it was that man Keita who rose highest from a corner to nod in, pretty much unmarked from inside 6-yard box goal. Bohs going in 2-0 up at the break. It fell apart then for Sligo Rovers as a ball played across their own box by captain Niall Moran, took a nasty deflection off J.R. Wilson, fell to Declan McDade outside the box, and he rolled it into the path of Dale Rooney, who rifled it into the top left corner from about 20 yards. An excellent strike to put Bohs out of sight here in the showgrounds just after half time. And that was about it for the story of the second half, really. Rovers huffed and puffed, but couldn't really get near Bohs, who just comfortably saw it out here in the end. So full time here in the showgrounds. Sligo Rovers 0, Bohemians 3.
Extratime.com's Donal Ryan, who watched Sligo Rovers being beaten 3-0 by Bohemians. Let's go to Weavers Park, where Drogheda United lost 3-2 to Galway United. Former Drogheda and St Pat's player Paul Crowley was at the game. He watched it for LMFM and LOI TV. And afterwards, he sent us this voice note.
Oisin all over here at Weavers Park, and what was the most dramatic night surely across the league. But tonight here at Weavers Park was the most dramatic finish I've seen in a long time. The game started off and Galway led early stages through a Ryan Brandon OG, it seemed to be for us, up in the gantry. They soon equalised then the 24th minute. Evan Weir again from that area of the pitch where he's scored on numerous occasions this year, dead ball specialist. Bent a free kick around the bottom corner. Brendan Clark's right hand side, was just unable to get it. There was too much pace on it. 1-1 it was. Neither team had really got a foothold in the game. No one was dominating. Very unlike Drogheda not to at some stage have 20 minutes where they had a really good spell. So we didn't see a lot coming. We thought at times it was going to finish 1-1, but the game came to life then. Drogheda started a little bit better in the second half. Bawa scores in the 73rd minute and came on as a substitute, just a strike from the edge of the box. Markey just laid it off, and a great finish. Brendan Clark got a hand to it but was unable to keep it out. Drogheda looked in control. Galway huffed and puffed. They made a few good substitutions. Andrew Dervin came on, who was excellent and instrumental in driving them on in the last 20 minutes certainly. It looked like that they just were going to crawl out of here with a draw. Galway, with Nugent getting an equaliser in the 90th minute with a header just under the crossbar, just went in. They all went off celebrating. Drogheda thinking they've dropped 2 points, and Galway thinking they've probably got out of here with a point, but that wasn't to be. Walsh had other ideas. Strike from the edge of the box where he just got a foot on it, his left foot, and it just slid past the keeper and wasn't able to get a hand on it. They've got out of here with 3 points, Galway, and Drogheda will be absolutely devastated that, not that they only hang on for a point, that they've actually got nothing out of the game tonight, and Galway will be absolutely delighted for a game where they weren't in for long stages. But they'll be delighted. There was a big speaking point in the game, and listen, an injury to Warren Davis that led to 10 minutes stoppage time then as well in the first half, and our thoughts are all with him as he was stretchered off and looked like he was brought over to the hospital, so we haven't had an update on that to mention, but there was 10 minutes stoppage time in the first half because of that injury, and our thoughts are with him tonight, and hopefully he makes a speedy recovery and everything's okay. But that's it, from Weavers Park. Galway 3, Drogheda 2.
Well, that's almost it for the Extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. Let's run you through the full-time scores. In the Premier Division, Drogheda United 2, Galway United 3, Shelbourne 1, Waterford 0. Sean Boyd with the only goal there. Shelbourne with the victory, and they're set up nicely for their visit to here in Richmond Park on Monday night. That game, by the way, St Pat's against Shelbourne, will be live on Virgin Media Television. St Pat's losing 1-0 here against Derry City. Sligo Rovers beaten 3-0 by Bohs, and Dundalk with that shock 1-0 victory against Shamrock Rovers. In the First Division, Cork City 3-1 winners away to Bray. Cove Ramblers drawing 1-1 at home to Treacy United. UCD drawing 3-3 with Finn Harps. You can read the match report on extratime.com. It was a belter of a game. Wexford beating Kerry by 2-0. How does the table look? Well, let's see. Shelbourne are on top. They're on 31 points. They're 1 point clear of Derry City, who are second. Shamrock Rovers third on 25 points. They've played the same amount of games as Derry City. Shamrock Rovers hosting Derry City on Monday night in what is a huge game. Galway United fourth on 24 points. They've got one game less played than the top four. They've only played 16 matches. Bohs have played the same amount of matches as Galway, that's 16. They're only 1 point behind the Tribesmen. Waterford 6th on 22 points. St Pat's 7th on 19 points. Sligo Rovers 8th on 18 points. Drogheda United second from bottom on 15 points. And Dundalk bottom of the pile on 12 points. But you would say feeling much better about themselves after that 1-0 win against Shamrock Rovers. The First Division table, how does that look? Well, let's see. Cork City on top on 38 points. They're 10 points clear of UCD. Finn Harps, who drew 3-3 with UCD tonight as I speak, in third position on 25 points. Athlone fourth on 25 points. Wexford fifth on 24 points. Then it's Bray, Cove Ramblers, Treaty, Longford and Kerry. Are there games today as you listen. Well, maybe you're listening on Monday, I don't know. But there are games in the Avenir Sports Women's All-Ireland Cup. Peaman taking on Bowes at 4 o'clock. That's in Group A. In Group B, Cork City host Cliftonville at 4. At 6, Wexford take on Shelburne. In Group C, DLR Waves meet Treaty United at 3. And in Group D, Galway United take on Athlone. There is one game in the First Division, Longford Town meeting Athlone. There are obviously fixtures on Monday night. And they're big ones as well, aren't they? St. Pat's hosting Shells here in Richmond Park at 7:45. As I've already told you, that's live on Virgin Media Television. And at 8 o'clock, Shamrock Rovers welcome Derry City to Tala. In the First Division, there's also a match, Wexford taking on Cove Ramblers. That's it for the Extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. Remember, you can read all about Irish football and everything that's happening in the League of Ireland on Extratime.com. You can follow me via X on @Oisin Langan. And of course, you can take a deep dive into what's happening in the League of Ireland with Luke Jordan, who will host the Extratime.com League of Ireland podcast. That'll be out on Tuesday or Wednesday. That's it from Richmond Park, where the party was kind of pooped by Derry City. But St. Pat's supporters, and you could feel it after the game, kind of understand that this might take a while. From myself, Oisin Langan, enjoy the rest of your weekend, or enjoy the rest of your Monday, depending on when you're listening to this. Our figures suggest that a lot of you listen on Saturday and a lot of you listen on Monday. Sunday is somewhere in between. Whenever you're listening, I hope you're enjoying it. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.